live from Studio 4F of the SIC TV studios, located somewhere in beautiful downtown for us to know and you to find out. Good luck. It's the Mandrake Radio Show, starring Lionel Mandrake. His long-suffering, loyal co-host, Matt Murdoch, will be joining us shortly. I'm Niles French, along with Dizzy Gillespie and the SIC TV Orchestra, inviting you to join the lads and their guests, Gilda Radner, Joan Rivers, Topo Gigio, and special musical guest Isaac Hayes. And now, a man who is the man who would risk his neck for his brother man. They say this cat is a bad mother. Shut your mouth. He's Mandrake.
Well, thank you very much there, Mr. Niles French, and thank you for that little flashback to Shaft, which
Tally-ho, Shaft.
Thank you so much, Niles French, everybody. He's an excellent MC, master of ceremonies, and he always does a fine job. Right now, where's Murdoch? Murdoch, are you on the set?
I'm coming.
Well, hurry up, you're late. Niles, talk to you later. Now, thank you, everybody. Welcome to the New Year's edition of the Lionel Mandrake radio program.
Thanks, Niles.
Murdoch.
Good job.
Thank you. We're here. Thank you for coming. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure. We're going to be doing a New Year's special today, and it involves a little bit of retrospective on all the interesting events from January 2016 to the current day in the year of our Lord, December 30th, in the year of our Lord 2016.
We're calling today's show the Train Wreck Edition.
If you do hear a little bit of irritation in my throat to all of our listeners out there, it may be because I did succumb to a little bit of a cold over the course of our previous recording. That was last week. I have a little bit of a hoarseness, a little bit of a cold, but fortunately, I didn't go under with full-blown bronchitis this year.
Yeah, there was a bronchitis scare, last week, but I think you're past that now.
Well, we have some new things here on the Lionel Mandrake radio program that we would like to inform the public about. Number one, due to circumstances beyond our control and because of the essentially unhinged nature of our current occupant of the White House, Barack Hussein Obama.
He's losing it.
I'm not losing it, but Barack Obama is.
He is. That's what I'm saying. He's losing it.
And as a result of him losing it, we're losing it. Now, I decided that it was very imperative here in the undisclosed bunker location beneath 25 feet of reinforced concrete set off somewhere in a mountain, not Cheyenne Mountain, but similar in its construction. We're pretty safe here, to implement a 3-tier DEFCON system to alert our viewers in the event of an emergency.
Which I just found out about 15 minutes ago, and he expects me to know it like I devised it. But
Well, I decided to come up with this emergency broadcast situation, which involves signal flags. We have 3 flags right now. Those of you who watch the show are aware of the Gadsden banner on my right, which is your left. It's actually, scratch that, on the bottom. Don't tread on me. That is the Gadsden banner. I don't want to get too far from the microphone. That particular flag is typical. That's DEFCON 1. DEFCON 1 means situation nominal. Be on the lookout for any of Obama's government operatives who are trying to infiltrate and obstruct every aspect of your life.
If you see something, say something. Yeah.
In other words, if you see something, say nothing, because we don't want to say nothing to the current government because you can't trust it. However, after January 20th, we expect that may very well change. With regard to the Gadsden banner on the bottom, that is DEFCON 1 here in the bunker.
Yeah, let's move it along here.
That means that we are not going to have a problem with security. DEFCON 2 is up in the upper right-hand corner, liberty or death. That is DEFCON security level 2. That means that anybody coming into this secure broadcast location is going to have to be subject to extreme vetting and a search for any kind of objects such as recording devices, because we don't want anybody to hear what it is we're actually saying. So DEFCON 2, that is the liberty or death. And the reason why I chose liberty or death, that is called the Culpepper flag.
And if none of the preceding works, then there's always the nightclub upside the head option.
Exactly. The Culpepper flag means DEFCON 2. That means you got to be on the lookout, that it's a dangerous situation, much like the situation we have right now with our very unhinged president starting trouble with both Israel and Russia now. DEFCON level 3 is the flag you see right in front of you. That is the tactical Gadsden flag, the battle flag. When you see Mandrake flying that flag in the upper right-hand corner, to my right, your left, that means you got to get your go bag and get out of town, because It's really on. However, I do believe that with the new administration coming in January 20th, we may not reach DEFCON 3 level at the Mandrake Bunker.
Yeah, if we can just survive the next 3 weeks, that's all we got left to put up with this dude. And I don't know, he's really showing his behind here. Like, he talk about going out with a bang. I mean, geez.
Can you imagine? I mean, first it was
going quietly into the night. Ain't this guy's style from what we're seeing?
I mean, when you had that speech that Kerry gave on, I believe, was it Friday, where he discussed how Israel has two choices. Either it could be a Jewish state, or it could be a democracy, but it cannot be both. My jaw dropped because I don't understand the meaning of that. Why would the Secretary of State go after Israel on every front through the United Nations by refusing to withdraw and veto this here resolution, which essentially places Israel in violation of international law, and then declare that Israel can either be Jewish or it can be democratic, but not both? What does that mean?
See, I think what we're seeing here is the anti-Semitic underbelly of liberalism.
It seems to be the case.
I mean, it's like, for all their talk of how, love and peace and everybody join hands and sing Kumbaya, they're starting to reveal themselves as not so much that. And right now, the brunt of that is being felt by our friends in Israel.
Israel is the only democracy that grants rights to all of its citizens, has many Arab Muslim people who are in the particular governing government body of Israel, that would be the Knesset. And so for the United States of America to forego decades of precedents where the United States would automatically, or routine as a matter of national security, would side in with Israel and automatically veto such resolutions, one of which came up last year and another one which came up the year before. It seems these type of resolutions are constantly popping up in an attempt to delegitimize Israel in much the same way that the Obama administration is trying mightily to cement some sort of a legacy with 20 days running down on the clock.
Yeah, and see, that's what you just pointed out. See, the interesting thing that, like you said, this is not a new effort that we're seeing coming from these quarters, but the difference this time is that this is the first time that they've had a sitting American president that seems to be in their camp. And that's a big difference maker. But here's the thing, all right? This and all the other stuff that Barry's been pulling here on his way out the door, it's like, it doesn't matter. People don't worry about it because he's not the only one, issuing an executive order is not his exclusive province. 3 weeks from now, we're going to have a new president that can easily issue executive orders of his own that can undo everything that he's trying to do on the way out the door.
Well, the problem with the United Nations resolution is that it is binding in the United Nations. However, for sovereign states like the United States of America and for Israel, they can abide by them or not. However, they would be in violation of so-called international law. So at this particular moment, Israel is in violation of international law by having what are called settlements. But I don't know if the average viewer out there really understands. When you hear the word settlements, it sounds like a bunch of like hikers or like campers putting their flag up on some grass meadow somewhere and saying, this is my land and now I claim it.
Or what used to be called, in this country, Indian reservations.
Or homesteading. Homesteading is where the government actually puts land aside and you can actually, for a very minimal price, or for nothing in many cases, like in places like Alaska, accept that land and it becomes legally yours. No, these settlements are cities. They're basically cities with buildings and major construction and roads and infrastructure and sewer systems. I mean, these are basically expansions of existing cities that are to the, I guess, in the area of Jerusalem and the West Bank. And these areas are not sort of like haphazard settlements, but expansions of existing city and town provinces of Israel, of Jerusalem. And so for most people to say that these Israeli settlements are illegal, it would be just like, somebody telling the United States of America that it could not, develop land that is, part of its own territory and national sovereignty.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
But it's been a stickling point, and it's been used as a sort of a bludgeon against Israel, basically for the last 3 resolutions that were previously vetoed, even by Ms. Rice, who was the former head over there at the United Nations, ambassador to the United Nations, she, under orders, of course, of Obama, did veto 2 previous attempts at doing just what was succeeded at on Obama's way out the door. And nobody really knows why he's doing this, except in order to make it more difficult for President-elect Donald Trump when he takes office January 20th. God willing, it cannot come fast enough.
I was about to say, really what's at the heart of all this, this is just the latest round of liberal sour grapes. They're still butthurt, if I can use that word, over the fact that they've lost power, and like you said, trying to do everything they can to make, at least the first few weeks or months of the Trump administration, difficult by, having to clean up their messes that they're leaving behind. And it's really shameful. I mean,
can you imagine 2 major international Obama edicts, which are essentially executive in nature, because this here, Miss Kennedy over at the United Nations, what was the name of the lady who actually announced that the United Nations, that the United States would be actually abstaining from the vote? I forgot her name, but our political analyst is going to be calling. His name is Eric Parker. He knows a little bit more of the details and nuances of this. However, our ambassador to the United Nations now said, listen, there are reasons for this, and she explained them. And basically, I can encapsulate exactly what the reasoning is in 3 words. Blame Israel again. Period. This is what it is. Blame Israel. Don't talk about Hamas. Don't talk about the Palestinian Authority over there that teaches its children to hate Jews and not to coexist with them, and refuses to accept the fact that a place called Israel even exists on any of their maps, in any of their schools, in any of their political documents. Israel does not exist, and it will not exist if they do have their way. And so why on earth would President Obama make it even more difficult for the people of Israel to survive in a very hostile portion of the world where they are outnumbered with a land mass that is 1/600th of the land mass of the Middle East, meaning that the Islamic states surrounding Israel comprise 600 times more land mass than little tiny Israel does, and Israel is the problem with the world.
And the answer to that is, again, what you just kind of alluded to, is that for the first time since the inception of Israel in 1948, we have an occupant in the White House who appears to be on the side of the anti-Israel forces in the region.
If not overtly, then covertly. It seems like he's in solidarity with the forces of anti-civilization and anti-Western sentiment. No matter where he goes, look, I don't want to bash Obama. I just wish he would go away already. It seems like the
3 more weeks, bro.
I got to tell you, 8 years of listening to him drone on and lecture us about American values leads me to question what exactly it is American values are comprised of. Do American values include stabbing your very good friend Israel in the back on your way out the door? I mean, even if you were a person with somewhat of a skewed character. Look, you played the song initially. You made an allusion in your opening, Mr. Niles French did, to Shaft. Remember, he's one bad mama.
Shut your mouth.
Well, talk about Shaft. I mean, Israel's getting the shaft now.
Right? Yeah.
And this is something that I'm outraged by, and all God-fearing people of goodwill everywhere should be properly angry at the fact that Obama and his minions are trying to create more chaos and mischief, which it's not just innocuous. We're talking about the lives of, thousands, tens of thousands, or millions of people in Israel. I think there are about 6 million Israelis who reside there. I mean, it's not a lot of people if you look at the overall population of the region. Now, we also have to go to our second point to make about Obama's attempt at derailing and sabotaging President-elect Trump's presidency before it even begins. Let's talk about Putin.
And with a bit of sour grapes, I might add, on the way out the door.
Murdoch, would you please let our audience know about what it was that President Obama did with regard to Russia yesterday?
Oh, yeah.
With the expulsions.
The whole sanctions thing and expelling Russian diplomats. I think it was like 35 of them or something like that.
35 diplomats. Russians are expelled from 2 locations on the West Coast and here in New York.
Or
Pennsylvania, rather.
And the reason given for this action is because of Russia's involvement in hacking the presidential election, which of course caused Hillary Clinton to lose. In other words, we're blaming somebody else again for their failures.
It's utterly pathetic that the Obama administration wouldn't leave with dignity. I mean, obviously, Obama is a political animal and he has no scruples, meaning he has no shame. Most politicians don't have shame to begin with, but Obama especially so has no shame. Not only does he have no shame, but he's reckless and dangerous, both internationally and has proven himself with his embracing groups such as Black Lives Matter, which saw a 300% increase in police assassinations in the year 2016 because of primarily the kind of anti-police rhetoric that he allowed and fostered and sort of, looked at in a tongue-in-cheek kind of way.
Telling them that they were doing good work. Yeah, but anyway, now here's the thing. All right, here's the thing with him and Putin. Okay, it's a known fact that these two men have never gotten along, all right? And I think part of what motivated, Obama to take this action, along with what I just said about the whole thing about, sour grapes over the liberals losing. Also, remember, what was it last week when after the assassination of the Turkish ambassador and Putin came up with
the Russian ambassador assassinated in Ankara
in Turkey, right? Okay, and Putin's angry response saying, that this will not go unpunished. This is not Benghazi, and I am not Obama. You don't think Barry didn't take that personally?
I mean, he really outclassed
so
him
I think
on all
that's
fronts.
part of the reason why he's doing this. I mean,
I take with regard to Russia, Mother Russia, and Vladimir Putin, I take the following position. Look, it's better if we can get them on our side and cooperate with Russia rather than make them our enemy. And the enemy of my enemy is my friend, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, here's another thing. Okay.
One moment. If Russia is going after the so-called rebels in Syria, who we know are jihadi terrorists, that's why Bashar al-Assad is having to destroy many parts of Aleppo, because he has to excise these monsters who are committing atrocities in Syria. Russia is helping Assad do it. We need a strong man in the Middle East. We got rid of Saddam Hussein, and look what happened. We got rid of the Libyan dictator Muammar Gaddafi, who was a strong man and warned us what would happen, and look what happened. And now we're trying to do the same thing in Aleppo, in Syria with Bashar Assad, and I think he is actually trying to destroy this terrorist organization known as ISIS, and he's using the help of the Russians to expedite this. I don't see why that is actually a problem.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you got to get in bed with people who aren't all sweetness and light to get things done. That's been throughout the history,
Not in the world, not in the utopian, idealistic, theoretical, textbook, academic world of Barack Hussein Obama, who never probably even had a real job in his life. He never drove a cab. He never stocked shelves. He never swept the floor. Everything was handed to him, all while saying, "You're the best at everything you do, Obama." I believe a lot of what he did, what he got was affirmative, if you ask me.
The participation trophy generation is what we're talking about here.
And also the affirmative action generation, which I think he really embodies.
All right, now here's what I want to bring up here. Okay, all right, here's the thing. Putin and Obama have famously not gotten along. And I could be wrong. This is just my personal...
With good reason.
This is just my personal speculation here. Okay, let's say that Putin does have a more favorable opinion of our soon-to-be President Trump than he did of Obama, which he clearly had disdain for. And the two men clearly had disdain for each other. But I think he actually looks forward to working with Mr. Trump because basically what we mean here is that world leaders look up traditionally to the United States for leadership. And what our partners in the world, who, let's face it, since the Soviet Union no longer exists, Russia is at least part of the time part of that group. And people look to American presidents to be strong, to provide strong leadership. And I don't think that Putin believes that Obama is a strong leader. I think he thinks that Obama is weak, and I think that's the reason why he doesn't respect Obama, whereas Trump coming in, Trump's going to restore that strong image of American leadership, and I think Putin's saying, hey, this is a guy I can work with.
You make an interesting point about strength and the perception of strength, how in certain cultures it's very important that an adversary or a rival either reveal himself to be strong or weak, and then you treat that adversarial rival accordingly.
Yeah, strength, respect,
In the
strength.
Chinese culture, for example, there was a diplomat who actually spent a lot of time dealing with the Chinese, politicians overseas, doing some work as some kind of a big business, executive for a major corporation. I'm not talking about Rex Tillerson, who's also done work in Russia, but another individual who I think the President Trump administration is touting to be the ambassador to China. I forgot his name, but his name, people can Google it. This individual actually was, I believe, from, I forgot, Ohio or someplace like that, and he did a lot of business in China, and he knows the Chinese culture, and he said this. He said that the Chinese respect strength. If they think that you're weak and they think that they can get over on you, they will not hesitate to do so. They respect those who negotiate from a position of strength. It's their culture, and I can believe that. The same may be true with our friends over in Russia, who certainly do not think much of Obama, and with good reason. Back in 2009, there was an embarrassing gaffe, if those of you who can remember that far back, 2009, right after the re-election of the anointed one.
I have a hard time remembering 2 weeks ago, and he expects me to go back to 2009.
This is hard to not remember because Hillary Clinton let out a cackle after the embarrassing gaffe was revealed for the whole world to see, as if her gaffe, her cackle, her hideous laugh, which has really become a staple of her mocking. Most people remember her for her laugh, which is contrived and extremely annoying. But remember when she handed a reset button to the Russian to the Russian ambassador? His name was Mr. Larov. And she said, we would like to reset our relationship with Russia because it's gotten a little bad, but we're going to hit the reset button. It was such a childish thing to do. Give a yellow box with a red button, and on it was a Russian word, and the word was peregruzka, which means overloaded or overcharged. It does not mean reset. The CIA translators who gave the State Department the translated word for reset gave them the wrong Russian word. So when she said to the Russian ambassador, Mr. Larov, we were here, I quote, Ms. Clinton presented Foreign Minister Larov with a green box, not yellow, tied in a green ribbon. As reporters watched, the U.S. Secretary of State assured her Russian opposite number her staff had worked hard to ensure that the translation was accurate. And she looked at Mr. Larov and said, was the word right? And what did Mr. Larov say? He goes, you got it wrong. The word is not correct. And then she let out a shriek and a cackle like it was funny. Can you imagine? We couldn't even get a word right under the Obama administration, under the Secretary of State, Hillary Clinton. And she laughed at it because these people are effing. Oh, excuse me. I said effing, E-F-F. I didn't say the F word, but I'd like to say it if I could say it on TV. These people are performers. They're not serious-minded, individuals who have, a real hard sort of professionalism about it. Most actors become politicians, except for Ronald Reagan, who was actually a politician who happened to be an actor, I think, all of his life. He really had a lot of the qualities that made for a great president. But most people either become in the clergy or they become politicians if they want to be adored by and adulated by the masses out there. You become a politician so you can line your own pockets, but you're not really qualified to do it. Isn't it? It's something else. She's not qualified to be Secretary of State, but she was Secretary of State and embarrassed us in 2009 in front of Larov, who was their counterpoint to the Secretary of State.
All I got to say about that is this. America, that's the woman who wanted to be your president.
Well, I'd like to...
and she got a bunch of saps to vote for.
Can you imagine that?
What does that say about them?
Can you imagine Hillary Rodham Clinton president right now? Here it is, December 30th, 2016, in the year of our Lord. First of all, did anyone out there read her holiday message, no less? She couldn't cough up the word Christmas because apparently she didn't get the message, the memo that says Americans are tired of political correctness. So she sends out a memo.
But she's not. She's not tired of it, and those who follow her aren't.
Her holiday message was so filled of the usual drivel that you would expect from a liberal such as herself, talking about continuing, not the struggle, but it was wordage that kind of implied the struggle must go on, even though 60 million of you voted for us. I'm sorry we didn't get the results. You get it, 60 million of you. So I won the popular vote. There she goes. You understand?
Uh-oh, we have
an incoming call, which we are going to reject right now because it's not coming in from the overhead, which we repaired. I would like to continue on with a Putin statement. Vladimir Putin, the leader of the great Federation of Russia. Are you ready for it?
Let's go. Hit it. Hit me.
Now, as everybody knows, 35 U.S. 35 Russian diplomats were expelled by the exceedingly demonic and spiteful Barack Hussein Obama because he doesn't know what else to do with himself. He looks like a clown globally. He didn't do enough damage with Israel, so he decided that he was going to go after Russia. And he did. He expelled 35 diplomats and imposed other sanctions, which are pending, and I quote, which will be implemented at a time and place of our choosing. Well, the time is running kind of low there, Mr. Obama. So the time is kind of running low. Maybe not the place, but the time. And don't let the door hit you in the keister on the way out. But let me read a statement. Murdoch, you have something to say?
Go ahead.
This is a statement that I read. I took off of the news wire this morning from Vladimir Putin, the leader of the Russian Federation. And this is how Vladimir Putin, a statesman, a man well-versed in international affairs and statesmanship, this is how Vladimir Putin responded to the Obama tantrum.
Tantrum, good word.
With regard to the recent unfriendly steps taken by the outgoing U.S. administration as provocative and aimed at further weakening the Russia-U.S. relationship, this runs contrary to the fundamental interests of both the Russian and American people. Considering the global security responsibilities of Russia and the United States, this is also damaging to international relations as a whole. Remember, he's speaking about the actions taken against Russia by the Obama administration yesterday. As it proceeds from international practice, Russia has reasons to respond in kind, meaning you expelled our diplomats, we're going to expel yours. This is what Vladimir Putin continues to say. Although we have the right to retaliate, we will not resort to irresponsible, quote, kitchen diplomacy, but will plan our further steps to restore Russian-U.S. relations based on the policies of the Trump administration. And then he goes on to say, it is regrettable that the Obama administration is ending its terms in this manner. Nevertheless, I offer my New Year greetings to President Obama and his family. My season's greetings also to President-elect Donald Trump and the American people. I wish you all happiness and prosperity. Vladimir Putin.
Now, you know what that sounds like to me? That sounds like to me that Vladimir Putin, between him and Obama, Mr. Putin is the one that's actually being the adult in the room.
It would seem
and that's when you're talking about in terms of of an American president, that's pretty shameful.
Can you imagine? Yes, we have a caller on the line. Stand by. 1 second. We have a president here who was acting like a spoiled brat, acting out, attacking Israel, now going after the Russians. And what does Vladimir Putin do? He doesn't tit for tat. And I guarantee you that all the wonks in his political advisors who don't know their keister from their elbow, they don't know their butt from their elbows. They're out there saying, "Oh, what's going to happen is Vladimir Putin is going to expel U.S. diplomats in kind, and then Donald Trump is going to have to re-implement these diplomats, and it's going to make him look bad. It's going to make him look like he's kissing Vladimir Putin's rear, and it's really good for us because we'll be out the door. Trump is going to have to fix this mess, and it's going to make him look bad." Well, guess what? Vladimir Putin said, you know what? We're going to stand back. If you want to send your kids to our Christmas and New Year's party in the Kremlin, please do so. And to the American people, Happy New Year.
In other words, Putin didn't take the bait. Okay.
You know, and I guarantee you that the Obama wonks did not expect that.
And really, all that you got going on here is, okay, Obama just gave these guys 3 weeks vacation.
Hello, we have a caller on the line. Please, what is your name and what is your call about?
Hi, this is Eric calling in.
Oh, hi. To those on the Lionel Mandrake radio program, we have Eric Parker. He's a political analyst who calls the show to fill us in on certain information regarding international affairs. Eric, how are you doing today?
The newest member of the Mandrake family.
Welcome aboard there, Mr. Parker. How's everything going?
Hi, good, thank God. Great
Okay.
to be with you guys. How are you?
We're doing pretty good. Now we're discussing 3 things this morning, but 2 of them are really got me. I'm fired up and I'm angry about it. Number 1, can you please explain to our listeners and viewers out there exactly what in the world happened in the United Nations last week, where Israel is now in, and I believe, violation of international law? How the heck did that happen?
Well, that happened because we had our president who showed his true colors. You know, this is exactly what he wanted to do right from the start 8 years ago. He couldn't because he needed the support from the Jewish voters in America. But now, 3 weeks out, Hillary lost. He has nothing to lose. may as well do what he always wanted to do, you know?
May I ask you a question, Mr. Parker? According to your political, charts and statistic, feedback, may I ask you the following? Do you think that this terrible injustice done to the state of Israel can be reversed under a Trump administration? Is it reversible since it involves the United Nations and not the United States or Israel per se?
No, this is not reversible because the cat's already out of the bag. You know, now Palestine is invigorated by Obama and Kerry's remarks.